The Chicago Bulls are taking on the Toronto Raptors today, and while a lot of Bulls fans are upset over the last win by the Chicago Bulls, can the Bulls get back on track for the tanks to quiet all the hate and all the other stuff going on? We're going to talk about it all and more right after this. What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this content today, y'all. The Chicago Bulls are taking on the Toronto Raptors. I know this is a little bit early. The game isn't for another couple of hours, but the way my schedule worked out, I needed to do the pregame show a little bit earlier today than normal time. We usually try to do the pregame show about an hour before the game, but I wasn't going to be able to do that today. So either y'all weren't going to get a pregame show or it was going to have to be early. I erred on the side of let's just do it a little bit early, right? But, we'll see how many people are in here or whatnot. I know it's far away from game time, but the Chicago Bulls are taking on the Toronto Raptors today at home. This starts a home stretch for the Chicago Bulls. And listen, the Toronto Raptors come into this game 38-29. They have one of the best defenses in the entirety of the NBA this season. And, this is a team that really has woken up a lot this year. Like, they've gone up and down at times this year. They're as high as like fourth, I think, in the Eastern Conference at one point. But this is a tough team. But they are a team that isn't as consistent as you would want them to be, which sometimes leads them to losing games that they should not lose. Now, of course, a lot of Bulls fans are hoping that does not happen today, that the Bulls are going to lose this game. You don't have to worry about it. The Toronto Raptors coming in with the 8th best defensive rating in the game of basketball, and they're not too shabby either offensively. They have the 18th best offensive rating in the game of basketball. They sit at 12th as far as net rating on the season so far. They're 3-2 in their last 5 and 4-6 in their last 10, though. That goes back to what I said. Still an inconsistent team in a lot of ways, which has led them to losing some games that they just shouldn't be losing. And so is that going to happen today against the Toronto Raptors? We'll see. I doubt it, right? I don't get that feeling that the Raptors are going to drop this game or anything like that. We know that the Bulls, they had a win last game against the Memphis Grizzlies, which sent some Bulls fans on a 24 to 48 hour spiral when it came down to it. But Colin Murray-Boyles is out in this game, so you're not going to see any CMB in this game against the Chicago Bulls. That's another player that a lot of Bulls fans wanted to see the Bulls draft. It didn't end up happening, so they're going to be down him. The Chicago Bulls are still going to be without the players that they've been missing. No Jaden Ivey in this game, no Anthony Simons in this game. It is what it is when it comes down to that one. But hey, the Bulls have been dealing with tough injuries all game. Colin Sexton's out today. Isaac Okoro's out today, which means we're probably going to see a lot of Leonard Miller. Rob Dillingham's going to further keep getting opportunities, and we'll see what those guys can bring to the table, man. We'll see what they can do. Jules says, I know there's very different players, but do you think Modest has passed Ayo and Kobe at this point in time as players? I can't say the height of Kobe, because keep in mind, Kobe White was still not just, and people like to say that Kobe White was just some empty calorie scorer, but he wasn't. He's a player that scored 20 points. He averaged creating about 12 to 14 points off assists per game as well, and he was a solid rebounding guard also. So I can't say that yet. Now, that can change as early as next season, but I can't say that Modest has passed those guys up yet, just because it hasn't been enough of a sample size. Great question, though. I think that's a great and fair question. As far as Ayo, I think Ayo's two-way ability still puts him a little bit above Modest as it stands right now, but Modest's ceiling is a lot higher than both those guys. I will say that. A lot higher than both those guys. Rob chiming in on that says, I kind of do think Kobe in his first 2 years, Ayo's tougher to compare different roles. So you think Kobe is? Are you saying, Rob, you think Kobe was better his first 2 years, or that Modest is better their first 2 years? Well, I just want clarity on that so I can know how to respond to that. But a great question. Jules coming in asking great questions. That's a great question there, bro. But yeah, this game, it is what it is. It's the same thing for the Bulls in all these games. I'm looking at the development of Modest, the development of Josh Giddey. Outside of that, Leonard Miller is another guy that I continue to just want to see how he's going to play while he's getting minutes for this Bulls team the rest of the way. I want to see that. And, we'll see what happens with it other than that. We'll see what they can do. I think Modest was so far. Modest defense was better than Kobe for me. That's why I lean a little to Modest. Fair. I mean, listen, I can't knock you on that one. The block shots that Modest has, his on-ball defense grade is really good. So, I can't blame you on that one. Kobe was still very streaky his first 2 years in the league, right? Like we know that, very streaky. He put up some performances, but he was very streaky. I mean, he was streaky, the majority of his career. But so maybe that as well can help put it over. So great point there about Rob. Rob also says not by a lot over Kobe. Okay, cool. I mean, fair. If that's your opinion, that's your opinion. Like I said, not knocking anybody for it. But, the thing with Modest continues to be like how good, that's the question I'm going to throw back to you guys, Jules and Rob. How good do you, as it stands right now, how good do you think Modest can be when it all finishes? How good do you expect him to be? Do you think he's going to be a 20-8 player? Do you think he's going to be that? What do you think is going to happen here in regards to that? Let me know what you guys think on that one down below. I would love to hear from you guys on that one. But overall, like I said, the Bulls games at this point, it's all the same shit day in and day out. Whether they win or lose, it's all the same stuff. It really comes down to this for the Chicago Bulls. Like I said, the development of Modest and Giddey are at one tier. Seeing what you got in Leonard Miller and Rob Dillingham are at a different tier. And then I guess kind of still evaluating the veterans to see which of any of these guys you're going to keep around. They're going to keep some of them around. That's just the reality of it. What up, Haize? I've been watching all what? All season, all day, all stream. Durability too, a little for Modest, but Modest also started maybe more games. We started playing better since Okoro went down. I'd have to go look at that. Like I said, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'd have to go look. I haven't even thought about that. Okoro's such a consummate role player that I haven't even really thought about that. But I will say this. You're getting more offensive production consistently out of Leonard Miller than what you do Okoro. And I do think Leonard Miller's a solid defender. I don't know if he's an Okoro level defender yet, but he is a solid defender too. So great point there. Give us good center this year's draft, and we could take the best talent. So the Bulls needed to focus on position if they were going to keep Kobe and Ayo. Now that Kobe and Ayo are gone, we don't have a long-term shooting guard. Center is still a position of need, but I think at the place that the Bulls are at, they have to focus on the best talent. Whoever they feel can really turn into a star at wherever they draft at. Now, that could very well still be a center. It may very well still be that, and that's fine if it is. But at this point, I don't think we're at the point where you just focus on position anymore. That was the last build. Now we're in a different build. Modest at his best will be 28-5. That's not a bad at the best. That's not a bad at the best. It's not bad. That's ceiling Vaughn for sure. Yeah, that's that near there. I mean, listen, and Modest has tons of potential. Like whenever he does start adding the mid-range game back, as he gets more confident as a dribbler, if he tightens up that dribble too, those things like Modest comes down to a lot with confidence too. And we know that Modest is a naturally confident guy. But yeah, still possible to make a play-in run. Yeah, technically. I mean, if you're talking about by odds, technically if the Bulls win all of the games remaining, they can still finish with a winning record. The Bulls could still finish with a winning record. They still finish with 42 wins. Is that really what y'all want to ask about, though? Like, that's where we are? We're asking if the Bulls can still make a play-in run? I mean, I understand it, though. Like I said, it's difficult to root for your team to lose, so I guess I understand it by that stretch, but that's crazy. Didn't expect to see that. Can we still make a play-in run? That's crazy. But, yeah, technically, if you're talking about possibility and not probability, yeah, the possibility is definitely still on the table. We know the play from Giddey the past 2 years has to be his floor as a player as well. Big offseason for Modest and Giddey and Noah. Let's add. I'll say this. I don't know if we can say that that's Giddey's floor. I think Giddey's somewhere right now between the ceiling and the floor. I think you got to keep in mind, usually by age 24, 25, players are kind of who they are. Not to say that they can't add slight refinements, but they're pretty much who they are. Josh Giddey's 23. He'll turn 24 this offseason. So, I'm not going to count it out because Giddey hasn't played his actual best position his majority of the time in the NBA. But I think getting to be a 29-9 guy is pretty damn close to a great ceiling, right? But we'll see what Giddey can do. I mean, he turned into such a good three-point shooter. You got to guard him at the three-point line now, so you never know. Dill Prime says, I've been watching all your videos for a while and Locked On as well, but I never get to see it live just based on busy schedule, timing, whatever. I'm so excited to have caught you live. Hey, we're glad to have you here, bro. Like, glad to have you. Glad that you can catch a live. We appreciate it. We appreciate that for sure. We appreciate the love and support of the channel, man. Like, I can't stress enough how, and for those that were around from the beginning, many people will know I had a 3, maybe it was a 2-year goal. I think it was a 3-year goal. I was like, listen, if I can get to 5,000 subscribers in 3 years, I feel like I've done something. I think we passed 5,000 subscribers within the first year, I think is what we did. I never expected the channel to blow up the way that it has. I've never expected that. I never expected for, some people to be like, I'm their favorite Bulls podcaster. I never expected that. And it's still humbling. It's still humbling. I've been doing this almost 5 years now. This August will be 5 years I've been doing this. And it's never gotten old. I've never gotten tired doing it. This is day 1,747 straight days of me doing this show. Straight days. Haven't given up a day. And I've never felt burnt out. I've never felt like I didn't want to do the show today. None of that. It's crazy. True, the floor as you get older will drop. That's a good point too. I didn't even think about that when I said my point, Rob. That's a good point. Is Yaxel the Flemings of this draft? A lot of hype, but will ultimately be a late first rounder, almost second. No, I don't think Yaxel drops past 16, 17. If he even falls out of the lottery. If he falls out of the lottery, he's going to be one of the first picks in the lottery. I'd be willing to guarantee that. I don't think he falls nearly as low as what Flemings does. Yaxel Lindenberg, I think is definitely going to be a top 17 pick in this draft. I would have no doubts about that. Like, look at the teams. Like, just for example, like, I don't think he makes it past OKC picks at 14 and 15. I don't think he makes it past them. With them reportedly being willing to, probably going to opt out of Isaiah Hartenstein's deal. They have Thomas Sorber there, who did get hurt this year, but we know that doesn't mean anything. I don't think he makes it past either one of OKC's picks. Maybe they'll pick a different player first, but I don't think he makes it past OKC. That's just my personal opinion. I don't think he makes it past OKC. So, there you go. That's just my personal opinion. I'm Josh Giddey's number one stan. Shout out to you. The much older years, I hope. Are you talking about with the floor drops? For sure. What's your thoughts on Braylon Mullins? I like him. I mean, and the draft projections are going to change, so I'm not holding out everything on where the projections goes. The thing I like about him is I love the way his ability to hit three-point shots. I love the fact that he's a good weak side defender as well with the blocks that he gets. He doesn't turn the ball over a whole lot. He's a solid defender as well. Like, I wouldn't say he's a great defender, but he is a really solid defender. I just think that that'll be a bit of a reach for Chicago at where they're going to pick unless he really, rises up some or has a great combine. But he's 6'6", 200 pounds, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going off the top of the dome here. So I mean, the youth is there. I think he'll be a nice fit next to Giddey as well. If you're focused kind of more on fit, I think he'll be a nice fix in the backcourt with Giddey. Interacting on lives is something that makes Haize who he is. The Iron Man of Podza. That's crazy. I appreciate you for that. Ringer has Yaxel at 11. I haven't really looked at the Ringers mocks as much this year. The Ringers I typically look at more towards like after the lottery, because they then start doing things more towards where what the teams needs. But listen, can't be mad at that if he ends up like I said. So there are gonna be some things. Well, if I'm not mistaken, Yaxel's team didn't make the tournament, right? Or am I tripping on that? I'm going off the top of the dome again. But with that said, so I don't know if he's not in the tournament, he's not going to have that tournament boost, but he could get that bump up in the draft combine, which is a big possibility there. So, a cuff Fleming buries Yaxel, Cynic, Amit, tons of talent near 9 and 10. Exactly. I was in the comment section talking to somebody today where they're like, why you guys seem so confident about the talent that can go at 9 or 10? I'm like, have you looked at this? Like, have you watched them? Like, and I'm a basketball nerd. I watch basketball all day long. Like, legitimately, I watch sports all day long. If it's not basketball, football basically only on Sundays, but football, basketball of some shape, form. I'm talking about between NBA, college, and EuroLeague basketball. I watch it all. WNBA basketball too. Love WNBA basketball. And then outside of that, baseball. If my Sox are on, I'm watching them. If the Cubs are on, I'll watch the Cubs some too. And then hockey. I like hockey more in person, but I probably out of all the games the Blackhawks play in the season, I probably watch 25 games during the season live. Not as much soccer, football, because I did grow up in Europe. I love my football. So I watch sports all day long. That's what I do. Thoughts for Yuki long term? I mean, I still think Yuki's long term probably just going to be a G League player. Unfortunately, I think the height is the thing that's going to hold him back. The IQ's there, like that. Anybody at Yuki, if anybody Yuki size is going to make it, it's going to be Yuki Karamora because he is such a smart basketball player. But you got to keep in mind the Bulls' deepest position is guard. There's not a lot of runway there, so we'll see. I love Yuki. I love him as a talent. I love watching him play basketball. Man, your knowledge on these prospects is elite. Just off the dome like that. Listen. Here's the thing that I always say, and I know I'm on the spectrum. Like I'll tell y'all that there's no way that my brain could work this way without me having a touch of that tism. I gotta have a touch of that tism. But like the way my brain works is that like I feel like there's a compartment in my brain for stats, and I just store them there for a long time. And sometimes my recall, like I don't remember his weight off the top of my head, but like. They're especially when I'm in that mode, because like I'm in draft mode now, so I'm already starting to take my notes on prospects and things like that. If I write something down, I almost never forget it. I say almost because, again, nothing's 100%. And now that I have my digital notepad, so I have my digital notepad where I take my notes while I'm watching draft stuff, and it automatically goes to this Google Doc for me. And so that has been such a fucking game changer for me, because I keep, and the motherfucker is like it's a e-ink display, so it never dies. Like I think you got to charge it once every 6 months or something like that. So I take my notes, and this is what I do during. I haven't been taking as many notes during games because Bulls games are Bulls games. But so as I take my notes, it automatically goes to a Google Doc, and so I can recall it at any time. So that's just been like my note taking is, I'm meticulous, but I take notes for the way that my brain works, and so. It's I have to show y'all my notepad one day. Y'all gonna be like, hey yo, this motherfucker crazy. This nigga crazy. Did you see that notepad? Y'all gonna be like, this nigga Haize is wild. Reese posted in the Discord. I kind of agree with most of their picks. Reese posted what in the Discord? I must have missed something. Yaxo in. Oh, Yaxo is in. His team is in. I couldn't remember if his team was in or not. I don't know, something about Yaxo's game I don't like, and I can't put my finger on it. I mean, listen, I understand it. I'm not saying that like he's the most fluent player out there. There is some to his game where it's like when you look at Yaxo, you're like, especially because he's almost 24 years old, you would expect him to be a little bit more polished. And that's always the risk of like drafting a player. Because like Taj was like 24, I think, when we drafted him, 23, 24. And Taj, he added a three-point shot, but it's like, can you expect that to happen again? I would love to go and look at older players that are drafted, and see how much of their game really changes at being that old already. Like, think about it. Yaxo is going to come into the league at the age that most players are getting their second contract. He's older than Josh Giddey. Like, just put that in perspective, right? So I wonder what that means. Carr and Tonde for Baylor not in the tourney. The Texas game versus BYU Thursday. I think AJ and Swan, good matchup. Swan can go 10 and 20. We'll see. What's good, Anthony Vargas? Glad to have you in the building. Look how the chat changed to draft coverage. Can you tell we thirsty as Bulls fans? Listen, bro. I listen. I got to fight myself every day not to put something on the docket for each episode for the draft. Like, I have to. Got to go deeper into the bag this year. The draft is so effing deep. Bro, do you know in last year's draft, I think I did 52 prospects. I believe it was in the 50s. I always go deep in the draft bag every year, regardless. And the reason why I do that is just off the off chance that the Bulls made a surprise trade. So, like, believe me, there are some times where I wanted to go in the draft and be like, all right, bet the Bulls pick 13th. I'm going to look at players from 10 to 20. But because, like, I want to be thorough, and because I never want to miss a potential, right? I want because not everybody has time to watch college basketball, so I want to be able to give them that content so that the way that I look at it is that for people who don't watch college basketball, I want to be able to give them enough information to feel confident that they know at least enough about each of these prospects. And that's the way that I try to cover it. Now, this year is going to be a little bit different because I have to do it here and over in NBA Central. So I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to balance that. And I think the way, y'all let me know how you feel about this. So here I'm going to do it the way I always have. I'm going to do my tiers of prospects, right? I'll do, here's if the Bulls go in the top 5 or the top 4, here's the 5 guys I like the best. If the Bulls stay where they are, here's the guys I like the best. And then I'll go position by position. Best point guards available, best shooting guards available, best wings available. Like, I'll do that. And I always do that for this channel. But over on NBA Central, I think I'm going to go team by team. And I'd probably do it in the way that here's the best 5 prospects for the Kings. Here's the 5 best prospects for the Washington Wizards. I think that's the way I'm going to do it this year. And I think it just makes more sense to do it that way on a general NBA channel. I think that's the way I'm going to do it. But Vaughn is very welcome to come on NBA Central and help do some work. I keep trying to get Vaughn to come be my guy over on NBA Central to help me balance the channel out because it's just me. Haize, you from Chicago but grew up in Europe. That's fire, bro. Military family. Military family. Sexton is playing? Did they just announce? I just looked on ESPN and said that he was out today. Okay, cool. Hey, Colin Sexton's playing today. Shout out to my nigga Colin. 24. Yeah, he'll be 24, I think, by the time he's drafted. But all right, y'all, I'm going to get ready to wrap it up, man. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, man. You guys are amazing. Yeah, tell Vaughn to stop, to get in the booth, bro. I've been trying to let Vaughn, and the thing with Vaughn is I'm basically saying, Vaughn, go do your 2 episodes a week. Whatever you want to talk about in NBA, I'll drop the video on the channel. He don't even have to do the episode with me. Vaughn is so smart about this shit. He don't even have to do the episode with me. All you got to do is send me the video. I'll upload it. I'll give you the bread. I'm not trying to keep the money from you. But Vaughn is too talented not to be podcasting. That's the way that I look at it. And in my ideal world, I would love Vaughn to take over NBA Central and I become kind of more the guy that pops in and out of there. I would love to, like, that's a fully monetized channel. Vaughn can have that shit. That's how highly I think of Vaughn. So, y'all put peer pressure on Vaughn. Tell him to get in the fucking booth. Tell him to stop being on the sidelines. Get in the fucking booth. Come with us shooting in the gym. But I love you guys, man. Go Bulls. See Red. I'll be here after the game. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.